Good morning and welcome to our Take 10 reflection for this week. Many university students have just come out of a period of exams and they are now in what I used to consider as that horrible waiting period, not knowing quite how well you'd done. Failure, or even the threat of failure, is challenging for most of us. Even the threat of failure comes with a whole range of emotions, from embarrassment to anxiety to shame, even anger. It may be that for various reasons we find ourselves developing an incorrect or irrational belief around the topic of failure. Beliefs that cause us to think, I'm useless. I will never amount to anything close to success. Firstly, I think it's important not to deny those feelings. Sometimes I think we need to sit in the rubble for a while and identify what it is we're feeling and consider why we feel that way. If this is you, if you are a person who struggles with failure, then might I suggest that you need to readjust your thinking and reframe your thoughts in order to develop a healthier perspective on failure. I thought that maybe this morning we could consider together a number of famous failures. Thomas Edison, one of the world's greatest inventors, in attempting to create the commercial light bulb, failed time and time and time again. He once said this to a reporter: "I have not failed 10,000 times. I have not failed once. I have simply proven 10,000 ways that it will not work. When I have eliminated all of the ways that will not work, I will find the way that does work." We must remember that the expert in anything was once a beginner. Edison didn't succeed on his first attempt or his 100th or his 1000th attempt, but he kept going. And where might we be if he hadn't? The journalist Malcolm Muggeridge said this: "Failure is the most creative phenomenon of life." That is a challenging statement. What about Albert Einstein, one of the greatest thinkers of all time? Einstein didn't learn to speak until the age of 4, and he failed his initial exam to enter Polytechnic school. Later in life, Einstein said, "A person who never failed never tried anything new." You never fail until you stop trying. The first 2 companies owned by Henry Ford, considered the father of the automobile, both failed. Don't ruminate and relive your failure other than to ask yourself, what can I learn? What can I do better or differently next time? Like Edison, Einstein and Ford, we must learn to use our failures to spur us on to greater creativity and increased learning. Later in life, Henry Ford said, "Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently." See failure for what it is. It is simply a bruise, not a tattoo. Failure is an attitude, not an outcome. It is only permanent in nature if we allow it to be. Walt Disney, the founder of the Disney Empire, was sacked aged 22 by a Kansas newspaper because, in the words of his editor, he lacked imagination and had no good ideas. Sometimes we struggle with a warped sense of failure and of ourselves because of the words that others have spoken over us. Never allow the false prophecies of others to keep you bound. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is an integral part of success. It does not sum up your identity. It is part of your growth process. The renowned author J.K. Rowling, who has sold over 500 million copies of her Harry Potter novels, yet her first Harry Potter book was initially rejected by no less than 12 major publishing companies. Colonel Sanders, founder of the global fast food chain KFC, was 62 before his chicken recipe was accepted by a restaurant in Utah. It's reported that that recipe had been rejected by over 1,000 different restaurants. The Bible itself is full of people who viewed themselves as failures and simply felt like giving up. If this is your struggle, please be kind to yourself and cut yourself some slack. Adjust your mindset. Develop a healthier view of what failure is and isn't. Never lose hope. Never give up. Rock bottom can teach you lessons that mountaintops never will. I hope this has been helpful, and I hope to see you next week. Take care.